And welcome to the Breakin Broncos podcast. I am your host, Dan Wetstein, and I promise I did bring my co-host with me. That is Dylan Miles. How are we doing, my man? After a bye week, how do we get back in the groove of football?
More football.
That wasn't very enthusiastic, my man.
No.
We're supposed to get
I'm tired. I'm tired. No, I'm excited though.
I know you are, man. I just had to mess with you a little bit. But no, we are here, as always, to talk your Broncos. So please, as you guys have already done, leave your likes, leave your subscribes. We love you all. We appreciate it all. Let's get into it. Starting off with the biggest news of last week, and I know it hurt your heart, my man. Chubb was traded. I'm sorry, what's that?
1 second, I got.
Uh-oh. My dude left me in the middle of me trying to set him up.
There he is.
There he is. Okay, I see you. Yes. All right. So Bradley Chubb was traded. I know that hurts your heart, my man. Is this a signal of them giving up on the season?
Hell no. No.
Thank you.
It was a good trade. As much as it hurts, it's a good trade because you get a first rounder back when you weren't going to have one for 3 years. And you get one up for the upcoming draft, too. What's funny is they get San Francisco's pick that was given to Miami that was given to Denver.
And they only gave up 2 first, my guy.
Yep. Oh, two first. Yeah. I keep thinking it was the 3.
The Niners are the ones that gave up 3 years worth of first picks. But
you get the 2 years, you get one back. There's a shot you can get one back next year, too.
They get an extra one, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Really, this year, the only thing they really need to get if they want to is to get into the second round. They already have 2/3, a fourth, 2 fifths. So I definitely.
You still got plenty.
Yeah, they got plenty of picks. They will get moved back up into the second round. There will not be a single round that the Broncos go this coming draft that they won't make a pick. That's my prediction right now. That they will have a pick in every single round before everything's said and done.
I don't know what goes on in George Payton's head. I don't think we ever will, and I'm okay with it.
But I mean, we did try to steal you guys. We told y'all last week that yes, our insider said that Bradley Chubb was unlikely to go, but that was simply because they did not believe somebody would actually give a first round pick for a half season rental. And we told y'all if Payton was given a deal he could not refuse, he will not refuse it. And a first, a fourth, and a running back for a 8-game rental that, yes, now they signed him for $110 million, but that is that right there.
And the fact that people think that they would have signed him for that, he would have gotten 80, 90 at best extension if he stayed in Denver.
Yes, this was completely unintentional, by the way. He's Kentucky. I'm Fort Lupton.
They're playing tonight. Go Cats.
Yep.
First game.
We got all kinds of stuff going on tonight. You got Monday Night Football, you got Nuggets basketball, got Kentucky basketball. So we got all kinds of fun to go on today. But yes, the blue was completely unintentional, let alone the blue with the white writing. That was completely unintentional. But hey, this is what happens when you have greatness in you.
I would put on the blue light, but it looks like it's not too bad, but the purple looks better.
Yeah, it's all right. But yes, what you were saying. The fact that he signed for $110 million, that tells you exactly why George Payton pulled the trigger. He got great value, and there is no way that they can justify to Randy Gregory giving Bradley Chubb $40 million more than he got for the same amount of time. That is the difference. We have our residential injured pass rusher. That's Randy Gregory, and we got him for, again, $40 million less. And something people don't talk about, there is an out in Randy Gregory's contract after next season, where the Broncos only have to eat $4 million for a dead cap hit, and they're scot-free of everything else from that Randy Gregory deal. George Payton does not give non-team friendly deals. If he's going to have a person sign a deal, they are going to sign a team-friendly deal that has the outs he wants and the word I'm looking for. Crap, I lost it in my head. The bylaws and things that he wants. It's going to be there we go.
Contract obligations.
The way,
contractual obligations
structured the way that he wants it done, not the way the player wants it done. And if the player's not willing to play ball, he's willing to get him shipped out of town.
See, and that's what I like.
He did it with Von Miller. He's now done it with Bradley Chubb. I mean, and then you see the deals he signed with Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, etc. Like,
and then they got reworked even at that.
Yes. Before they even played another game on the new contract.
And I mean, but that just shows you that the players are on his side. The players do like. I mean, everybody there likes George Payton. I don't think I've heard
players buy in.
Right. I don't think I've heard a single bad word about him from inside the org.
Anywhere. Inside, outside.
I mean, even when you have those guys like Melvin Gordon who are speaking out, won't even speak out against George Payton.
Right. But yeah, he wouldn't even go at George Payton. He was going at the coach because George has no control over what playing time the players get. He gives.
But I mean, he was trying to talk everybody up and you're out everybody and go, I didn't hear one name in there.
No. And so, no. So back to the question. No, this is not the Broncos signaling they're giving up on the season. This is the Broncos showing that they are going to be in on every single deal. And if they have a deal they can't refuse, they won't refuse it. And they're going to get top dollar.
And that's how Vaughn got traded as well. That's Vaughn. Like we said, we heard there's no way Vaughn, there's nobody, they're not going to trade Vaughn unless they find a perfect deal. George Payton finds the perfect deal because the Rams do not give an F the past few years. So he's just like,
until at least 2025.
I hope that one Super Bowl is worth it.
I hope it was, because this year's looking ugly.
Right.
But so we say that it's not them giving up on the roster on the season. Is this what was best for this roster?
Ooh, kind of in the middle on that. I would say yes, but I would say no. Especially the way how productive Bradley Chubb has been this season. He was having his best season probably since his rookie season so far.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I think he was even having a better season than his 2020 season. But you get rid of him. But look at the people behind him that have been putting up numbers. Baron Browning, first year as a pass rusher, second year in the league, is up there in top 10 in sacks. Not top 5. No, he's not top 5 yet, but he's in the top 10. And he's going to be back coming up against Tennessee this Sunday. So you're going to miss Bradley Chubb, but you're not going to really miss the production on the field, is what I'm trying to get at. Especially once Randy Gregory does come back, and then you have Baron Browning, you have Nick Bonito, Randy Gregory, and who was the fourth that they have right now? Who was the fourth string before Chubb was traded?
Say the names you just said again.
Randy Gregory. Come on. Randy Gregory, Baron Browning, and Nick Bonito. There should be a fourth because there were 5.
And Jacob Martin and Jonathan Cooper.
And Cooper, yeah. But Jacob Martin is the one. I think he is right behind Bonito for the 4th spot.
He was the one that they traded for from New York.
Yep.
And we'll get into them a little bit later here. But yes, what I really think Dylan's trying to say here is that you're not going to see one guy replace Bradley Chubb. And I'm sorry if y'all hear that in the background.
Is that a microwave?
No, it's actually the pressure cooker with the ribs. So ignore that. It's done. It won't be beeping anymore. I'm sorry.
Ribs.
But yes, we got ribs in the pressure cooker. Country style ribs, to be specific.
I was going to say, we always throw those in the pressure cooker. They're so tender.
Yes, that's the only. If they were racks of ribs, they'd be in the oven from like 6
right
this morning. I slow cook those at about 250 for somewhere between 8 to 12 hours.
Oh.
I don't play with my ribs. But back to ribs on humans and football. Technically, no. This was not the best move for this roster. Getting rid of a potentially all-pro, Pro Bowl pass rusher is never a good thing for a roster technically.
No.
But it allows guys like Dylan was saying, Baron Browning, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, etc., to show why Payton was so happy with this depth. Because that was the number one thing that George Payton brought up, was that he made this deal because of the depth, and he would have made this deal regardless of what the Broncos record was.
Right.
And I believe that because, again, that $110 million price tag, that is the same price tag that the Broncos gave Von freaking Miller
after
the Super Bowl. Think about that, y'all. He got the exact same deal Von Miller got after being a Super Bowl MVP and should have been the Defensive Player of the Year that year and got robbed by Khalil Mack. So that
God, Khalil Mack had a crazy year that year too. I always forget about that.
Yeah, you cannot give that kind of a contract to a guy that has done really nothing. Outside of his rookie season, he has done nothing. Yes, he started off the season hot. He had 5.5 sacks in his first 5 games. You want to know how many sacks he's had since then? 0.
Mm-hmm.
0. That's it. So, like, teams have adjusted to him. Or maybe he's hurt again. We don't know. We'll find out. And he didn't do anything in Miami on Monday when they gave up 4 touchdowns to Justin, the NFL is slow
Fields.
So, like, I mean, I love Chubb, but there is no way I would have been okay with the Broncos giving him $110 million.
If anything,
George Paton wasn't either.
Does it say if anything, Payton would have given him maybe a 4-year deal, 5-year deal at best, worth maybe 70 to 80
numbers.
at least. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, Randy Gregory's numbers at the most. Because again, how do you explain to the other pass rusher that when he's been on the field, he's been as productive, if not more productive, than the guy you just gave $40 million more to?
And
more guaranteed money, more guaranteed years. That's just, you can't do that in the same locker room.
Oh, what? I just blank on the name. Give me a second.
Position?
Martin.
Jacob Martin.
Jacob. Okay, I forgot his first name. Yeah, I mean, in that trade too. That's the sad thing is since Chubb got traded away, not a lot of people will talk about the Jacob Martin trade and how brilliant it was, in my opinion. Because I mean, look at it. You got the guy who's top 10, who's in the top 10 of sacks as well, who just signed a deal with the Jets prior to this season.
Just a $6 million deal, and he has as many career sacks as Bradley Chubb.
And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's you're getting
and
same production.
$3 million for the rest of the year.
Right, you're getting the same production on the field for even less money. And hey, if he balls out the rest of the season, you could see a couple of year extension. And you never know. But I do like Jacob Martin, born in Denver, born and raised too, by the way.
Yeah, local kid, great.
Played over at Cherokee.
Yep. Yeah, I see him being more of a depth piece simply because of how much is in front of him. Like, I believe he belongs on an NFL roster from what I've seen. I don't know if he should really be a starter. He's got a little bit less bend in his game and not quite as quick off the line as you would like for a starter, but definitely a good depth piece. He's much more of a hustle player. He's not really got anything that stands out. He just does everything at 100%.
His work ethic is something I really like.
What's that?
His work ethic is something I really like.
Yes,
and the way he speaks to the media.
Yes. Speaks to the media well-spoken, hustle player. He's never going to quit. He's going to add grit to the special teams, some speed, some versatility on the defense. The main ones you want to watch going forward, though, those are Nick Bonito and Baron Browning.
Oh, those Nick Bonito's finally getting his shot.
Those 2 guys are special. Bonito's still going to be the backup. The starters are going to be Randy Gregory and Baron Browning.
Do we get RG back this week?
What's that?
Or are we getting Gregory back this week, or is he coming back next?
They have not been specific. He is day to day as of right now.
Okay, so at least he's practicing though.
Not. Yes, he is practicing.
That's what I'm hoping for. I did see something about him maybe practicing over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I haven't really paid attention much today. I've been pretty busy today, so
yeah. He was out on the field for limited practice today. He wasn't a full participant, but he was at least out there and doing some individual drills and stuff like that.
Because before he was hurt,
he's very close.
Before he went down with that injury, like, my God, he's been productive. I mean, the man was unstoppable when he was on that field.
The top 2 players this year in pass rush win rate are number 1, Nick Bonito, number 2, Randy Gregory. What that means is they, on average, more than any other player, they beat their offensive linemen to the point where they either get a pressure or a sack or a hit. One of the things. So they are the best. Those two guys at beating their offensive linemen when they're on the field. Key point with Randy is always, can he stay on the field?
Right.
We're all crossing our fingers. We believe that he's going to eventually figure
And this
thing
injury
out.
that he came down with was a reoccurring. It was re-aggravated an old injury, wasn't it? I believe it was.
And that's the problem with him. Is that it's always something recurring. It's always something new.
That I think the one that this reoccurring one was the one he was dealing with last season in Dallas.
Yeah. This one, let me see. I think if I want to remember right, it's his elbow.
Yeah. And that's what he was having really big problems with in Dallas last year.
That's what he had surgery on in the offseason. That's why he had that sling. Oh, nope. It's his knee. It was his knee that went out this time. So his elbow's good. This is his knee that he's.
So this was the knee that he got jacked up.
The last game he played. I forget.
Yeah, but this is also the same knee he jacked up a couple years prior too. I remember this
I
because
believe so.
Because last year he was having the elbow problems in Dallas. That was his big thing. The year before he played almost every game, I think, if not all of them, in 2020. Yeah. But there was that knee injury that kept coming up. But
Randy Gregory has never played a full season in his entire career.
That's why I said most to maybe all.
Most, yeah. He's never played a full season. I think the most he's played in a season is 14, if I'm.
And that was 2020.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's where the knee injury came up. He missed a couple of games for that, but other than that, he played through the rest of that injury. Sad to see that knee injury is coming back, but hopefully he's gotten enough time that
it's not the same thing. Back then, it was a ligament issue. This time, it was his meniscus. So he had to go in and have his meniscus shaved down. So though it was the same knee, it was a different injury. And he only had to miss 4 weeks, but they said that when he comes back, he should be good to go. But right now, it's just a matter of him getting stable because he just took the brace off last week. So he's
if we're going
just trying to fill it out.
If they're going into this game Saturday, he doesn't play, or Sunday. I feel like he won't play, and if he does, he's not playing many snaps. He's going to be very limited. And if I'm Hackett here, I'm sitting him this week. Let him get 2 full weeks of practice. Let him have a limited week and a full week of full practice, and then we go from there. Then you go from there is what I feel like they might do, but you never know.
Yeah, if he plays at all this week, he will definitely be on a pitch count. And something is blowing up on Twitter. It's blowing my phone up. I got to see if it's anything important. Oh, no, it's just people liking my stuff. Okay. I'll take that, guys.
Appreciate nothing important.
That's very important. So I appreciate y'all. All y'all. Quick, actually, you know what? While I'm on this, so there's been a couple of people that I need to give some shout outs here on Twitter. Let me get their handle so I give it to them correctly. Prodigal Son 14 at It's Me and a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to read all those numbers. Young Athletes Fitness and Stephen L. Jackson. All of you have been absolutely amazing these last couple of days on Twitter. Please keep it up. Please know I am here. I do notice it, and we do truly appreciate all of the likes, all of the retweets. Y'all have been epic. I wanted to make sure I gave you all that shout out. So Twitter, keep it coming. We're at almost 4,800 followers now on Twitter, just at that almost 5K mark. Come on, y'all. Help us push on over that mark. Let's get to the 5K. Let's get that boost, and let's start rocking it on Twitter, and make sure that Musk gets to see my tweets because I've been having way too much fun with that. But now that we're done with that, let's move on to some new faces in Denver. We've already talked about Jacob Martin, the pass rusher coming over from the Jets, what he could bring to the defense.
Well, I will say, I do really like him.
I definitely like the depth piece, and I think he's going to be great. If nothing else, he is going to be a special teams ace, and the Broncos need one. So if nothing else, if he can offer that, there's plenty of pass rush they already have. So if he can do more on the special teams, that's all we need from your brother. But anything you give on pass rush, we'll take that too. But the next new face is Chase Edmonds, running back from Miami, part of the Bradley Chubb deal. People say he was more of a throw-in. I'm not so sure I agree with that. I think he gives a whole new element to this offense. But what do you believe he could bring, if anything, to the run game?
I do feel like he'll bring a pretty big element to this offense. And a lot of people, Chase Edmonds has been a career journeyman so far in his NFL career. But there have been plenty of bright spots that he's had on a few teams. I mean, he had some pretty good moments with the Dolphins. But what stands out for me is his time in Arizona.
Yes.
Let me find those Arizona stats. Yeah.
Yeah, his time in Arizona, especially his short time with James Conner, where he was the Lightning to Connor's Thunder. That's, I believe, his perfect role. That Nyheim Hines kind of role. That guy that returns kicks, catches the ball out of the backfield, good third down back. He's pretty good in pass protection, even though he's kind of short. He is only like 5'9", about 190 pounds. He's a smaller back, but he brings a lot of speed. He brings something that no other back really can, and that's that top end speed. Like Mike Boone's faster than the other backs, but he only looks as fast as he is because of, and I don't want to call them slow because every one of them would waste me in a race.
The NFL slow league, so
when it comes to NFL players, the fastest 40 of any running back in the room that's not named Chase Edmonds is a 4.56, and that comes from Mike Boone, which is not terrible. But to put in perspective, my big self at 325 pounds in high school ran a 4.6. Like, I mean, that's actually pretty freaking fast for a D lineman pound man. But I mean, when you compare that to running backs running a 4.56, that's only 0.04 seconds faster than my 325 pound self as a senior in high school. I wasn't even fully developed yet. Okay. So that's fast technically, but it's not as fast as you would like in your backfield. That's not going to get you 60, 70 yard runs. That's going to get you 30, 40 yard runs. Chase Edmonds, on the other hand, runs a low 4.4 and can take the top off of the defense as a slot receiver or just run by everybody on the outside zone in this offense with that speed. So that is what Chase Edmonds is going to bring. Now, whether or not you're going to see that this week, that's kind of a toss-up. They did have a lot longer than a lot of these guys. Like we saw Christian McCaffrey go out there and have 3 touchdowns after 3 days
a passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown.
Yes.
In his first game with San Francisco.
Yeah, first game. Then we saw Jeff Wilson Jr. just go out here Sunday and have a touchdown and almost 80 yards rushing after 3 days at practice. Now, also, that was him going to an offense he knew, an offensive coordinator he had last year. So the bit of a caveat there. But then you also have TJ Hawkinson, who went out there and had almost 80 yards receiving in his first game with the Minnesota Vikings with an offense
that game
he's never been in.
So hard.
Yes. Oh my God.
Derrick Henry had the best game of his season, probably since his injury.
Have you ever seen a 6-1 team celebrate harder after beating a Tyler Heineke led Washington Commanders sorry team? Like, how do you celebrate that? Like, I understand that was Kirk Cousins' first home, whatever. But how does a 6-1 team celebrate like it's the Super Bowl after they beat the Washington Commanders, who are an absolute mess right now?
No, but all I gotta say is 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins is just unstoppable. It's prime time Cousins that just drops the bag
every time. Bro, he doesn't just drop the bag; he drop kicks.
Okay, except one time. Except once. There's one time.
Yeah, you like that?
It was okay. 2 times. That one and where they beat the Saints in the wild card.
High school Dan. You need a picture of high school Dan. Ooh. You know what?
Are those forbidden?
No, they're not forbidden. But I don't even know if I have one. Like, if
you have to go to your parents,
I might be able to find my senior pictures. That would be the 4.6 Dan. If I found my senior pictures, that would be the 325-pound 4.6 Dan.
Yeah, my senior pictures will stay in the archives.
I had
it's not that they're bad.
I had really short hair with a spiked hairdo. Like
oh, you got frosted tips?
Spiked. Oh yes, they were frosted and everything. I even at one point I went full Slim Shady. Like I was full Slim Shady at one point, bro. It was great. High school Dylan as well. Hey,
You've seen a picture of that. It's been the picture on Twitter. You guys can see.
Yeah, I know. Just go on Twitter and you can see Dylan.
That's the best one out of all of them.
Dylan is only like 3 years out of high school, y'all. So
3.5, 3.5.
Yeah, so technically this right here. Okay, you want to see Dylan in high school? Look at the
It's
camera.
just take this. Okay, a little shorter hair. A little bit of shorter hair and no beard.
Right. That's about it.
Like you met freshly out of high school.
I'm sitting here with my old self. I'm like,
say you met fresh out of school.
Like me. TikTok.
Right. We gotta.
If I find one, I ain't scared. Like
I gotta see them frosted tips. See, that's something.
Dude, I did. I swear on everything. I had the frosted tips and everything.
And
I was the cool.
Were you just heading to school, bus and trailer park, or no? Which Eminem album am I thinking of?
Marshall Mathers, yes, a lot.
Yeah, Marshall Mathers.
The Marshall Mathers LP, the Slim Shady LP, and
I'll see if Frosted Tips though. I think more punk. The ones. I think more pop punk than I do rap.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'd be pulling up a Green Day.
You pulling up with some lit.
All the small things.
You playing any lit? My own worst enemy.
I was so lit.
No, do you not know that band? The band Lit?
That's why I tell y'all can't put me in boxes, dude. I've been in all of them, and they're all me. So this is just how it is.
I was talking about the band.
Off track. Let's stop talking about my frosted tips.
You gotta know that
Let's talk about Russ and getting frosted on Twitter. Russ's travels raised the ire of local yokels.
Is this that guy that you went at on Twitter? That dumbass?
James Marilat. Producer 1043. Dude, get some. Like, who hurt you? Can you please show me on the Bronco where Russell Wilson hurt you? Like, I do not understand.
What is wrong? I gotta turn off again. I'm still here though.
So, to let y'all know why I'm bringing this up is this man really went on Twitter after TMZ posted a picture of Russ and Sierra on poolside. 7 hours. Again, 7 hours after Russ had posted that he was working. TMZ posted a picture of him and Sierra poolside. So this man took it upon himself to try and paint a picture that Russ was lying about working at 7:30 a.m. because TMZ posted a picture at almost 3 p.m. So you're telling me.
And then that's also a time difference.
Thank you. Okay, so you're telling me that in the 7 hours between when he posted on Twitter he was working and TMZ posted the picture that there's no possible way that this man did any work. Like, that's what you're trying to convince me of? Well, I don't understand. Why is Russ such a lightning rod? Why do people care so damn much about his personal life?
I don't. It all started with the Let's Ride thing, and that was funny. I loved when people were memeing on that because that was so. It was corny. It was kind of stupid, but it's funny.
And even he was like, it was funny,
right?
Okay,
but so then out of nowhere, I don't even know where you could even start. Like that was just patient zero for what was going to happen.
Yes,
and I don't know what started the rest of it, but it's so stupid.
Guys like James Marilat, that for some reason. They have it out for Russ.
And people are just sitting out here acting like Tom Brady didn't just get divorced for playing football.
I understand Brock Heward and all these other guys from Seattle that are paid to be douches towards Russ at this point.
But I mean, that's all you're allowed to do. Talk about Russell Wilson in Seattle now.
Exactly. You got to be talking smack. If you're not, then they'll fire you. That's like the rules now.
Dude, what was the one guy that was talking nice about him before the Broncos Seahawks game week 1? I saw something about this small market radio guy who was talking about Russell Wilson leading up to week 1, talking nice things about him, got fired for that.
Yeah. Like it's insane. But if you're a local Denver journalist, I guess you could call them, and you're doing these things, it makes no sense at this point. why are you are you trying to divide the fan base as much as possible? Like, are you trying to be a divisive figure? I swear on everything, James Marilat wants to be Nick Wright so bad. That's the only thing that can make sense, because how are you willing to give up your integrity that way? And how does players vacationing on buys bother you? Like, how does that become a thing? That's when they're
It's a
supposed to
bye
vacation.
weekend there's a bye for a weekend, or for not a weekend, for a reason.
Yes, for a real good reason.
Like, people are acting like that the Giants, when the infamous picture on the yacht wasn't taken during a bye week.
Right. So now, and like the thing that a guy like him and so many others like to try and point out is like, oh, if he was winning, it wouldn't matter. So why does it matter now? It should not matter either way to me. But to you, does it matter if they have a winning or losing record?
Why are you just making fun of a man for being who he is? Football, like, you can be skeptical on the football field all you want. I could care less. But then you just start targeting a man for who he is so stupid.
It really, really, truly is. But
like, you don't see me out here attacking Tom Brady because his wife divorced him because he's playing football, which is funny, though. That is so. Right. But I will say it's funny, but I don't know why people aren't going after that. Hey, all I gotta say, he's undefeated since the divorce.
Now that he's undefeated since his divorce.
1-0.
Exactly. What, dude? Why do we have to do? Like, I get why places like NFL memes do it. That's their job. Like, that's
NFL
what they're
memes
there
is
for.
the greatest page on.
Yes,
anything.
They're just there to be funny. Like, they're not to be taken.
Dude, their Broncos memes make me laugh.
They
had one this week, and it was like Broncos dropped another bag this week, and it was 17, Broncos 20 bye week.
Yes. I mean, they're great NFL memes, but that's their job.
That's what they are supposed to do. Unlike professional journalists.
Yes, exactly. They're not journalists. They're guys there to be funny. They don't pretend to be journalists either, like a James Marilat, like Brandon
And
Stokely,
when you see them posting real
Darren
news,
McKee.
It's not like they're taking credit for it.
Right. No, I mean, it's absolutely asinine, and I'm so sick of it. So, being sick of it, let's move on. Let's do something happy. Let's give out awards. Mid-season Broncos awards. And we'll start off Defensive Player of the Year. I'll go first on this one. I chose Draymond Jones. The man is having a career
player
year.
of the week, baby.
You want to talk about getting a bag? This man is getting a bag in his contract year. As much as I talked about how Bradley Chubb didn't need to be paid, this man needs to.
This guy needs to
stay.
Give
him the bag. Give him it all.
And yes. Dude, did you see him going off about Ohio State?
Yes. Everything.
The man was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Has been playing out of his mind, and then they leave him out of all the Buckeye NFL highlights.
Right? Isn't that messed up? Like, he went off. That was jacked up. Hey, guess what, Draymond?
That makes him play better.
OSU might not love you, but we love you right here in Broncos country. I promise you, you have became a ultimate fan favorite.
When they got him, dude, I was pretty excited because you know me. It's rare for me to hear names in college that aren't that aren't receivers, quarterbacks, or running backs. I don't pay attention to college football until draft time. Usually for me.
Facts.
So for me to hear of Draymond Jones while he was at Ohio State is pretty rare, and that means something.
And this is a guy they were able to snatch up in the 3rd round, y'all.
Right.
That is.
What year did they get him?
Steal.
Was he?
God, he should be at the end of his rookie deal. So let's see.
It's got to be 19 or 18.
It hasn't been. It's only been like 3 or 4 years.
So then probably 1920.
He is young. I'm putting it up now.
But yeah, Draymond Jones, that's a good one. I'll go into mine while you do that.
Where's my Pro Football? There we go. Pro Football Reference. It's easy to find him there. He was drafted in the 3rd round, 71st overall of the 2019 draft.
So he was in that. He was in that class with Drew Lock. Who's in that? That was Drew Lock, Dalton Reisner, Draymond. Who was their 1st round pick that year? That was 19. They
didn't take a pick, and Reisner was their 1st pick because they traded back. I swear, if I remember right.
No. God, are you right? Let's see.
Yeah, I think
Noah
yeah,
Fant was the first one in the 2019. They took him in the first round. They traded back later in the first round to get
that's
Noah
right.
Fant.
That
Because
was
they
the
gave
year
up
they
that
traded back
linebacker from
top 10.
freaking
Yeah, Devin Bush
yeah.
Jr. out of Michigan.
That was still, to me, blows my mind that they didn't go for Devin Bush. I will say
does me too. But
you gave the Steelers Devin Bush, and look what they did to him.
Yeah, he's ain't done nothing. It's been so. And
imagine where he would be in this defense.
Like, maybe they saw, like maybe John Elway saw something,
which is a rare occurrence
in him. Well, with defenders, not so much. Players, yes.
Yeah, defenders.
Defenders, he's usually pretty good at guessing who is good or who's bad.
See,
case in point, Draymond Jones in the third round. So
yeah. But I think for mine, see, this is tough. Draymond would definitely be the pick if you didn't pick him. For me, he's definitely been my standout. But I'll give it to PS2. I'll give it to the boy Pat Surtain.
Okay.
You haven't been hearing much about him, and guess what? That's a good thing.
I'm not mad at him, but I'll just give you a little preview. He's on my list somewhere too, just not a defensive player of the year. So next up, offensive player of the year. For me, I think there's really only one choice, so I'm not even going to make you, unless you disagree with me. But to me, right now, it is Jerry Jeudy. Like, he's the only one.
Definitely, that's who I was going to pick. And if not Jerry Jeudy, I would give it to just blanked on the name. It is a
position.
Oh, Quinn Miners.
Yes. Okay. Not bad. Not a bad.
Just because of the where he's been placed. Like the deal he's been dealt this season.
Yeah, if Quinn Miners played all year, it would have been him.
Just the way that they put him in there and the way he's been producing on the field. His production on the field has been nothing but good to me since he's been starting.
Agreed. So next up, since we both agree on that one, this one again, I think there's only one. So I'm not going to force you to pick somebody different if you don't want to. No, rookie of the year, Greg Dulcich.
Oh, 110%.
Only 2 games, and yes.
See, if he had been playing since the beginning of the season, it would go to Dulcich for me.
I think they would. If he plays at the beginning of the season, excuse me, I think they beat Seattle. I think they
definitely do. No, if the Eves playing at the beginning of the season, they beat Seattle, they beat Indy, they probably the only game you probably lose would be what was the
Raiders?
The Raiders, yeah. You would beat the Raiders. The only team I feel like you could end up dropping a bag to is that Jets team, because that Jets team looks outstanding right now.
They probably could have done something similar, but to me, just having that extra weapon, somebody other than Jeudy or Sutton, that third option makes all the difference. And you're seeing that in this offense the last 2 weeks.
Now wait till we get a
turn completely.
It's doing the thing again where you stop talking and then I start, you cut back in.
Sorry, my brother.
No, you're good. Now the Broncos play the Titans this weekend, and then we get to play Vegas again the week after. Now Greg Dulcich will have a spectacular game against that Raiders defense, and I feel like if he was there in Vegas that first time around, the Broncos pull away, even with Russ injured.
Yeah, I mean,
because look at it, when he's good on the deep threat and he's good on the short threat. He's just he's outstanding.
He's very good all around.
The hair, man. I love him.
Well, and then the hair, yes, of course the hair. But yes, he blocks well, he catches well, he runs routes like a wide receiver, he runs like a gazelle. Like, I know
his get off is receiver speed.
Yeah, the 4.6 he ran at the combine's a lie. I'm calling that a lie right now.
He's running a 4.5, 4.4 at best.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'm saying like that 4.6, like he must have had a pulled hamstring, carrying half
or
his
probably
team,
just
hobbling on one foot. Like it had to be something
dude, he was
crazy.
playing in the Pac-12.
Yeah,
he's definitely getting hit.
4.6. But moving on to the next one, comeback player of the year again. Well, this one I think there's a couple of options. To me, I'm going to give it to my guy KJ Hamler. I just think the way that he's come back, the speed's back, all that's great. He is my comeback player of the year. I think I got a feeling who you might pick.
Now you got to give me a second to think. I just blanked. I was sitting there. I go, KJ's good. I had the name and I just blanked. Comeback player. Can you give me an injury list last year? Who's coming back this year? It
Let's see.
was
KJ came back.
KJ.
Bradley came back, but he's
Bradley.
gone.
Yep.
Josie Jewell.
There was
I think those are the big names.
Those are the big names. Tell me who you think I was going to say, because I know who I want to pick.
I thought you were going to pick Josie.
Josie? That's
yeah.
Because you're right.
I
You're
know
right.
just a little bit, my guy.
No, because definitely his production was missed on the field, especially towards the end of last year.
I think everybody forgets about how easily he destroyed Derrick King Henry last year.
Right. In a game that they should have won.
Yes, again, a game they should have won. But yes, that moment of Josie Jewell driving King Henry
just looking like
backwards.
Just looking like Steve Atwater knocking down Christian Okoye.
Bro, yes, very similar. Very similar.
That was the highlight they would play all week side by side.
Yes. I mean, they're still playing. They're playing it right now. Like, everybody's like, remember when he did this?
Right.
Like,
and you know what I love is Steve Atwater just goes, I remember Steve Atwater, every time they bring that up, just goes, I don't know why it's that surprising to you guys that I was able to do that in the first place, but also he was on the end of his career.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I love Josie. I think Alex Singleton might be surpassing him a little bit, but
dude, Alex Singleton's been playing great.
Them two together on the field is something
That's something that if you could get one of them,
unathletic duo that just seems to always be where the ball is.
Like, right. It's sometimes athletic ability isn't everything you need on a field.
Yeah.
You don't need this perfect athletic gift to be on that field. You need enough, and they have enough, but it's the brains.
There you go. That cerebral game, baby.
Those two guys have probably some of the best football brains in that org right now. Just watching the way they read the field.
Agreed. So final award, midseason award so far, MVP, and I'll make this easy. This is where I told you PS2 is on my list. That's where PS2 is.
PS2?
Yes. Pat Surtain II is the MVP of this team. He has not only become the best cornerback on the Broncos roster, he has become the best cornerback in the NFL.
He is the best
NFL.
I told
y'all when he was drafted. I told y'all. I got it on video. I told y'all when he was drafted that him being drafted over Justin Fields was the move to make.
You need to go to my text messages that I sent you when they drafted him.
Yes, we both were going nuts.
It was what effing dumbass wanted to draft Justin Fields? What kind of dumbass wants to draft Justin Fields that high up?
Exactly. And I mean, yes, Justin has shown a little bit over the last couple of games, but I think that's more a product of the defense he's playing. They're not winning. He's putting up numbers, but they're garbage time numbers. They don't matter. Give me PS2 all day. I've told y'all from day one, I stand for Surtain, and I forever will. This man is the truth. Y'all need to get on it, and y'all need to get with me, because if you're not, you're going to get left behind. So any other choice for you? I know you've already chose PS2 for
I got a toss up
player of the year. Go ahead.
PS2 I would have picked. I knew MVP would be coming up, but I wanted to take him for defensive, so I could give this one to Jerry.
I'm not mad.
Because I will say this is his breakout season. His comeback and his breakout season all in one. Because he hasn't been utilized well. Sure, he hasn't been utilized as well as he should be right now, but he's being utilized more than he has been since he's been on the team.
Yes.
And you've seen that more in the deep ball. You've seen that more in the slot. You've seen him out there running these short routes, turning him up for big gain plays. Although he doesn't have the touchdowns to show or the yards to show, I feel he should have the yards to show for this, but I will take him as my MVP. It probably would have gone to Baron Browning if he had played the past couple of games, or the last game. But other than that, I'll give that to Jerry.
I am not mad at that at all, my guy. I can definitely understand why you'd want to give that to Jerry Jeudy.
If Greg Dulcich
our
played the whole
awards.
season, God, he gets it for sure.
He might be he's already pushing that here, already 2 games in. So we went over the midseason awards. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game of the season, starting the second half that we were just mentioning. Denver versus Tennessee. We just saw the Titans handle the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs just barely able to squeak one out in overtime. With that showing, do you believe Denver matches up well with this Tennessee team?
Yes, and here's why. That Kansas City defense isn't nearly as good as a defense as the Broncos. I don't even think they have a top 10 defense, in my opinion. The offense is what wins them games. The defense is what loses them games in Kansas City. And
Agreed.
Then you're going up against the number 3 defense in the league. Derrick Henry has always had struggles against the Broncos, no matter what. Even though when they shut out the Titans, who lost the AFC Championship. They shut out that team. Granted, Marcus Mariota started that game. Tannehill came in and played awful, but Derrick Henry was not putting up numbers in that game. Then you cut to the next year, COVID year 2020. He had, in his 2,000-yard rushing season, didn't break over 50 yards against the Broncos in the first game of the season, and still rushed for 2,000 yards.
I'm sorry, what season are you talking about?
2020 to 2021, COVID year.
And on 9/14/2020 against Denver, he had 116 yards on.
Which game am I thinking? Oh no, I'm thinking of a.
You're thinking of the year before, or you're thinking of 2019, where he only had 28 yards rushing. Like up until last year, yes, you were 100% correct. And even last year, like I'll give you the full stats. That 116 sounds like a lot until you realize it took him 31 attempts. 3.7 a carry. The man has not averaged more than 3.7 a carry against the Broncos. He had 42 yards in 2016 on 12 carries, 28 yards on 15 carries in 2019, and then again took him 31 carries to get to 116 yards in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Henry seems to struggle against Denver defenses, and it doesn't even have to be great defenses. Like you saw in 18 and 19, they had a worse defense than in 2020, and he had worse numbers. So there's something about him playing in either against or in Denver, because all those games, there's games that.
And this game's in Tennessee, I believe, right?
Let's see. The 116-yarder was in Denver.
The upcoming game. The upcoming game will be in Tennessee,
the upcoming
right?
game's in Tennessee because the last 2 have been in Denver. So
because before that, the last 2 were in Tennessee, then the last 2 were in Denver. So this is one of 2 that will be in Tennessee.
Yeah, that rotation, exactly.
Because that's how the schedule will work. They'll play the Titans every other year. Because AFC,
depending on record and things like that could change, but for the most part, just about every other year.
It's just because you got to play every year. You can't play every division in the AFC because you got to save for one division in the NFC, 2 games each in your division, and then 1 other division within your conference.
Yeah, you have what they do is they give them 2 divisions in their conference. So, for example, AFC West would get the AFC East and the NFC East with also the AFC West, and then
the North and the South play each other.
Yeah, and then they'll get a couple of games from like record teams. Like you're going to get the AFC, NFC East, and the AFC West. Or I'm sorry, the AFC North will, in this example, you'll get those 4 teams from each of those divisions, no matter what their record is. But that also leaves 3 games that they have to find somebody else from another.
Right.
They can't give you just a division.
So that's why you see like a Jets game in here.
Right, exactly. So that's why you'll see these oddities.
Who are those? That would be like the Jets. Of course, they're playing the AFC South because they played the Texans so far. You're coming up against the Titans. They played the Jags. Who they have not played from that division yet? They played Texans, Colts, Jags. Okay, so they're coming up on the final one.
Yeah, the final one. But yeah, so I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I'm just trying to explain to people how this works. But that's why the Broncos, are in Tennessee. The last 2 games were in Denver. The next 2 will be in Tennessee. It's because of the way the schedule rotates. It's complicated. I'm trying to make it. I don't think I did a very good job of explaining it, but I did my best. But we're going to move on because we need to get into Tennessee. I do believe that the Broncos do match up well in the sense that Ryan Tannehill will probably not be in on this game. Malik Willis is going to probably be the quarterback again. He's a rookie. He's inaccurate. We all saw it yesterday. He's the reason why Tennessee lost that game. Tennessee wins against Kansas City if it's Ryan Tannehill out there.
Oh, 100%.
So, with that being the case, that means they're going to run it a lot, which is going to work in the favor of the Broncos because they can just stack the box. There is no,
and that's where Josie Jewell and Alex Singletary shine.
Yes, and Singleton.
Singleton, yeah, I keep saying
trying to make him a Chicago Bear legend,
right?
but no, like there's nobody on the edges that scares you when you're talking about Tennessee against this defense. You can't name a wide receiver in Tennessee.
And I could have named one, but they traded him away.
They traded him away, exactly. And I bet you can't name his replacement. I can, but I bet you can't.
Oh, hell no.
Treylon Burks.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. He was there for, he was the pick of the first round pick that they got for AJ Brown. So he was the literal replacement.
And they
got he's done nothing. So
what's his name? Hooper?
Justin Simmons.
Tight end they got
Austin
from
Hooper.
Austin
but
Hooper.
Again, that's a tight end.
That's a tight end, yeah.
And he's not an uber athletic. He's just big.
All I got to say is he looked a lot better in his one game with Tennessee than his 4 years in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, that's because he was buried behind TJ Hawkinson, but I digress.
Yeah.
Austin Hooper, he's not a guy that scares you. Like
no.
He's big,
I mean, and you know who you have to cover that. That's where you have
anybody.
And that's where you have, because, you know, that's where your Singleton and your Josie Jewell will come in. That's where your Kareem will step up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they are going to hunt the middle of the field looking for Austin Hooper and company. And Okongwu, however you say his name, the rookie tight end that had the 60-yard catch last night. He's a bit of a, but I mean, when your two biggest threats are your tight ends and you don't have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, you're going to have problems against this defense. And so I do not fear that offense at all, especially without Ryan Tannehill against this Denver defense. And I don't know why anybody would. Like, the kid's a rookie. He has nothing that's really special at this point outside of his speed. So as long as the Broncos can contain him, keep him in the pocket, not let him get outside of the pocket too much, there's no worries about that offense. And then when it comes to Tennessee's defense, I think it's a little bit overrated. They give up a lot of yards. They are 15th in the league in yards, but they don't give up many points. They are 9th in the league in scoring defense. The Broncos are 2nd in the league in scoring defense for reference. And the Broncos are giving up a little over 16. Yeah, getting up a little bit over 16 points per game. The Tennessee Titans are giving up a little bit over 19 points per game. So even though Tennessee does give up a lot of yards, they don't give up a lot of points, which could be problematic for the Broncos offense before the bye. But I have all the confidence in the world that the Broncos have done the most with this 2 weeks. They're going to come out with a whole new set of offensive playmakers plays, and they are going to light up the scoreboard.
And they're going to air out the ball a lot more this week compared to recent.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to see them air out too much because
but you're going to see a significant, a little bit more. It'll probably go from maybe 50-50 to 60-40.
Yeah, but the reason I say that is because the strength of Tennessee's defense is its secondary. They have a pretty good pass rush, but that secondary is top notch. It's not quite as good as the Broncos, but it's right up there. So I would like to see the Broncos come out and run the rock.
And this is where Latavius Murray will have a good week.
Yes, Latavius Murray. I think Marlon Mack's going to come out and show some things that he's been buried and shouldn't have been. You got Chase Edmonds that's going to do some things, I believe. He might not be out there for a bunch of snaps, but I think he will be efficient with the snaps that he does get. So
he'll be that good where he averages 3 to 4 a snap, a play. That's where he was always at, but he was just never on the field to do it enough.
Exactly. So Now we've pointed out there's nobody on the outside that scares you. Really, the only thing that scares you about this Tennessee offense is, of course, King Henry. Can the Broncos defense contain King Henry?
I believe they can. And I feel like, because this is it's no secret that Tennessee comes out in every game and starts it with a very run heavy offense. Every game, that's how they start. And then if the run is good, they'll keep on that. They'll keep at it. If the run's kind of not as productive as they want to, that's when they'll start airing out the ball. And I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to come out strong with that strong, hard-hitting, strong-nosed defense up front. Stop Derrick Henry and do a pretty good job at containing him for the most part within the first quarter, first half. And that's when you'll see them come out and start airing the ball out. And that's where the defense will finally take over the game.
Yeah. Ejiro Evero is one of the most blitz-happy defensive coordinators in the league.
And I love
there's
it.
Only two other teams that that blitz more than the Broncos. And with a rookie quarterback, no worry of anybody on the outside. If you think Evero has blitzed before, my goodness, Malik Willis is going to be under siege.
Right.
Or Ryan Tannehill.
Now let me give you the game plan.
Back there. Yeah. The game plan is going to be to
hit
the quarterback. Yeah. Ejiro Evero is his name. Yeah. DC. But he is going to bring the pressure. Malik Willis was terrible against the blitz last night. He was absolutely terrible. When he got a little bit of time to sit back in the pocket and he could chuck it, he was good. Mm-hmm. But he is not good on intermediate routes. He is not good on time.
And he's also not going to have a lot of time.
Exactly. And that offensive line, like the Titans' offensive line is decent, but this pass rush has not lost anything.
God. This season, he ran for 2,000 yards. I don't even think that line was top 10.
Probably not. Probably top 15.
Because that's how Derrick Henry and the line has said it. They do enough off the initial snap where they make a big enough hole for him to get through, and then they're done. They don't have to do anything else.
Agreed. And so with the fact that the Broncos don't have to worry about anything on the edges, they can stack the box, they can blitz, they can run blitz, and they can go one-on-one because there's not a single wide receiver on the Titans or tight end that can take out anybody that is going to be covering them. Like there is no mismatches for Tennessee to take advantage of because all of the mismatches are in Denver's favor. PS2 against Treylon Burks, PS2 against the white guy that I can't even remember his name. Like I'm
the rare white receiver in the league.
Right, I'm going to take PS2 every single time over every single one of these guys.
Right.
So,
I'll take PS2 against the best receiver in the league any day.
Any of them.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I'll take any. Yeah, it's 100% you take PS2 in any matchup. I don't care who he's matching up against.
No,
you can match him up against.
It literally does not matter.
I mean, look what he did. People will say, well, wait until he matches up against shit. He has.
Right.
He gave him a 2-reception, 25-yard game.
Look at the game against Jamar Chase last year.
Did it have a single? Or I was going to say, who did he shut out completely last year? And it was a good receiver.
Yeah, it was. Man.
Oh, he shut out Mike Williams last year. That's who it was.
There you go. Yeah, 0, 0, 0, zeros. All zeros. So, with all that being said, I think you're obviously know where we're kind of going with these predictions. We're going to give them to you anyways. I'll go first. I have Denver beating Tennessee coming out of the bye 24-17.
24-17. I like it. I'll take the Broncos as well. I feel like they would. I feel like it'll be a good game still. It'll be some good football, but towards the end, the Broncos will dominate their way through, especially defensively and offensively once they hit that stride. I'll take Denver 27-21.
Nice. That seems a little high scoring for me. But
the only reason why my one factor is Derrick Henry, especially if you give him good field position.
Yes, yeah. If Russell screws up, but something I don't think enough people are talking about, that Russell Wilson has the least interceptions for anybody that has more than 250 attempts, except Geno Smith.
Just from the salt
Him
in the
and Geno
wounds.
Smith are tied at 4
Right.
interceptions. They are the only quarterbacks in the NFL with 250 or more attempts and 4 or less interceptions. So as much as people want
That's
to talk
nuts,
about
dude.
Russell Wilson being careless with the football, how about we stop being idiots and using anecdotal
I'm so mad
evidence
people are
and
surprised
look
that
things up?
Geno's doing well. That still just makes me mad because you heard me say it to you. Geno will do
did.
fine in that system because he's been there long enough to learn it.
Yes, and we both said that, like, he will be fine in that because he's been there and he knows it.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
People
keep
try to make it out to be the same thing, and it's not.
Yeah, it's really not. Russell Wilson coming to a whole new ball game.
Geno's been his
and
backup
Geno
for
just
what,
gets to
how many
keep
years now?
kicking the same ball down the same
Right?
street.
How many years has he been in Seattle? Let's look.
I think at least 3, but I'll double check.
Geno Smith. That's where.
I know it's been at least 2. Like, we can guarantee 2 last year
Yeah.
and this year, but it's been
Geno
even longer
Smith-
than that.
Yeah, I was to say it should be longer than that.
Let's see, where's your 2013? There we go. Oh, stop.
2013 round 2, pick 39.
2020.
So yep.
He's been there
So
since
then
2020. So 3 years. Like I said,
3 years. Because he started off with the Jets. I do remember that.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Jets,
Yep.
and I mean, he had some decent. He had an 8-8 record his rookie
A
season.
lot of people won't remember the Chargers.
5 game-winning. I didn't know that. 5 game-winning drives.
One against Brady too. I'm pretty sure.
There's 5 total.
It was the year. It was the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl. He had that comeback drive against Brady when they beat the Patriots to give the Broncos the first seed that year in the playoffs.
Was that
15-16.
Oh no!
The year the Broncos won the Super Bowl.
Rookie year.
Oh! In that year, he had 5 comeback.
5 comebacks.
Oh, I thought you were talking about career-wise because I can remember one.
I'm saying just his rookie year, he had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks and 5 game-winning drives.
That was a bad Jets team too.
Right?
They just shipped Mark Sanchez away. I'm pretty sure.
And he had that's 12 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. And they still had an 8-8 record. Wow. Well, that's why he had so many fourth-quarter comebacks. You're throwing all those interceptions. My goodness.
But I do remember one of his game-winning drives, though, was that season that gave the Broncos the first seed in the playoffs.
I do. 2013. It might have been.
It was 15. I'm talking about he was still there in 15.
Oh, 2015. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does have a fourth-quarter comeback game-winning drive in that year. So that would probably be it.
Because that was the upset of the season. The Patriots were unstoppable that year. Unstoppable.
Yeah,
we saw what that defense did to Brady did. They hit him so much.
It's so bad. Yeah, 2015 was it was terrible for Brady. But I think this is a good place to end this one. We got into some good stuff, good talks, good stuff. So I appreciate you as always, my guy, and I appreciate all of you as well for coming in, joining us, giving us some comments, giving us some love, giving us some likes. Make sure you keep doing that. Hit all the red buttons, launch all the nukes, clear the way so we can bring you the news the way that you deserve. As always, for the Breakin' Broncos podcast, I'm your host, Dan Wetstein. That's my co-host, Dylan Miles. And for the Answer is 42, don't question the blue.